The day I was born, my father held me up high and laughed loud. My princess looks just like me. I silently rolled my eyes in the swaddling cloth. The smile on his face froze instantly. He suddenly looked down.
His sharp gaze pierced right through me.
My heart skipped a beat. Crap. He heard my thoughts. Mother's having an affair with the general. The crown prince isn't his son. Lady Shu will mess up the palace. The second prince's father is a palace servant. Lady Li is secretly working with the enemy. The third princess is actually a rebel. All these secrets poured straight from my mind to his ears. Father suddenly exploded with fury. He looked furious, fingers turning pale. His sword at his waist buzzed, ready to be drawn. I curled up, scared, thought the whole palace would be drenched in blood. But he just slowly calmed down, leaned over and hugged me tight. His voice cracked, raspy. Thank goodness. You're the only one truly mine. On the day I was born, Father held me, laughing heartily. Darling, look, this child looks just like me. Definitely my own blood. Mother lay in bed, looking weak, but she smiled with her eyes. I'm glad you like her. Just wanted to cry for effect. Suddenly, a thought popped up. 6 kids. Only one is actually yours. How could she not look like you? Father's smile froze instantly.
His arms holding me tensed up.
I felt a chill. He looked down at me, the warmth in his eyes gone.
He looked up at Mother again.
His joy turned into suspicion. Oh no, that bastard emperor can hear my thoughts. I shut up immediately. Didn't dare think anything else. Survival instincts turned me into a mute baby. But it was too late. Father held me, silent. The air in the palace felt frozen. The maids and eunuchs who were so cheerful before, now all kneel on the ground. No one dares lift their head. Mother's smile vanished too. She struggled to get up. What happened, Your Majesty? Father ignored her. His eyes scanned my face. I forced my eyes wide open, pretending to be an innocent baby. Don't look at me. I know nothing. I'm just a baby. Father's body trembled. He really can hear me. I'm doomed. This is it. I'm dead. Born and about to be burned like a monster. But Father didn't do anything next. He just stood there holding me, like a statue. Mother got nervous. Your Majesty, please don't scare me. Is there something wrong with the child? Father finally moved. He turned and walked out of the palace with me. His steps were fast and heavy. Your Majesty. Mother called from behind. Where are you taking her? She's still so little. She shouldn't get wind exposure. Father paused mid-step. He glanced at Mother. That glare was icy cold. Mother's voice got stuck in her throat. She's nervous, and this is just the beginning. I quickly shut up. Father stormed out with me. His personal attendant Wang De rushed after him. Opened a big umbrella to block the light. Where to, Your Majesty? Wang De asked softly. Prince Hong's face changed a bit. He said nothing, just sped up. Oh boy! The emperor is starting his purge. Why to the crown prince's hall? Prince Li Jingming, mother's first son. The crown prince isn't really yours. He's mother and the general's son. Back then the general was still in the capital. They were wildly in love. Father froze again. His fingers holding me turned pale again. I felt like he might crush me. Ouch, ouch, Emperor Dad. Calm down. None of this is my fault. Father took a deep breath. His grip loosened a bit. He walked even faster. I saw Mother, ignoring her weakness after childbirth, throwing on a robe and chasing after us. Where are you taking my child? Mother cried out.
Her hair messy.
Some maids supported her, looking scared. Father stopped walking, turned around to face the queen. Her voice was totally cold. You just gave birth. Rest in your palace. But this is my daughter. I'm just taking her to see her big brother. Is there a problem? Father's tone was very calm, but underneath he was a volcano. Mother couldn't respond. She stared at Father's cold face, her eyes full of fear. Seemed like she sensed something. Your Majesty Jingming.
He's studying right now.
If you go now, you'll disturb him. There go the excuses. Usually you want them to be close. But today you're scared. No problem. Father replied coldly. Turned and left. Never looked back. Mother collapsed on the floor. Maids hurried to support her. Father held me, silent all the way. All the maids and eunuchs lowered their heads. They dared not make a sound. There's never a shortage of smart people here. They know things are changing. Soon we reached the crown prince's hall. The guards saw the emperor arrive, and all knelt. Greetings, your majesty. Father ignored them, went straight inside. A head eunuch rushed over, grinning widely. Blessings, your majesty. Why have you come today? The prince is practicing calligraphy. Tell him to come out. Father's voice was low, but the eunuch shivered. He scrambled inside. Soon Prince Li Jingming, in fine robes, walked over quickly. He does look pretty good. Handsome and tall. Stands straight. Too bad, though. Half his face looks like mother. The other half like the general. None of it looks like you. I saw father's gaze turn razor sharp, just like a blade. Prince Li Jingming walked up to father, bowed respectfully. Greetings, father. Wishing you good health. He stood properly and spoke loudly. Rise. Father said calmly. Li Jingming straightened up, looked at me. He showed just the right amount of surprise. Father, is this the newborn little sister? She's adorable. She really looks like you. Another one says we look alike. Are you people blind? Or do you just love lying to my face? I'm ranting like crazy inside. A smile tugs at father's lips, but that smile doesn't reach his eyes. Is that so? I think so too. He reaches out and pats Li Jingming's shoulder. Jingming, how old are you this year? Li Jingming is stunned for a moment. He doesn't get why father is asking this, but he still answers respectfully. To father, I am 10 this year. It's been 66 years. Time really flies. I still remember when you were born. You were just a tiny thing. His tone is nostalgic. Li Jingming's expression begins to relax. Everything I have today is thanks to your guidance, father. Good, father says just one word. He carries me into the Eastern Palace. Li Jingming follows behind. Father takes the main seat. He places me on his lap. He looks down at Li Jingming standing there. Does the queen treat you well? Mother treats me like her own child. She is very caring. Li Jingming's answer is flawless. Duh, would your own mom treat you badly? Father's fingers tap the arm of the chair. What about the great general? What do you think of his character? The moment that question is asked, the air in the hall turns cold. Li Jingming's face changes instantly. He has no idea why father would bring up a distant official who has no connection, someone who commands a massive army and whose fame overshadows the throne. A few years ago, father exiled him for some excuse. The great general? I'm not very close to him. Li Jingming answers cautiously. Really, I heard you loved visiting his manor as a kid. Li Jingming's forehead starts to sweat. I was young and foolish back then. I just found their martial arts interesting. On your 8th birthday, mother begged father for ages to get you a Western region stallion. But then you turned around and gave it to the general's son as a gift. You said he was the one you respected most. I provided the key info at the right time. Father's face turned green back then, but he endured it in the end. Father's tapping finger stops. He stares at Li Jingming. His eyes look like he's seeing a dead man. A Western region stallion. The birthday gift I gave you. You liked it a lot, didn't you? Li Jingming's legs start to go weak. I liked it very much. His voice is trembling. So much that you just gave it away. Father's voice suddenly rises. Li Jingming falls to his knees with a thud. Father, please forgive me. I was young and ignorant back then. At 8, you knew how to flatter people, using my gifts to win over my subjects. Now that you're 16, should you use your title as crown prince to plot for your real father? Those last few words, father says very slowly. Each word is like a heavy hammer, slamming into Li Jingming's heart. Li Jingming snaps his head up, full of shock and terror. Father, what are you saying? I don't understand. He knows he can never admit to this. To admit it is to die. Don't understand? Father stands up, carrying me toward him step by step. He looks down at the kneeling Li Jingming. Look at this child. Father turns my face toward Li Jingming. He looks like me. Then he grabs Li Jingming's chin and forces him to look up. Now look at yourself. Tell me, how are you like me? Li Jingming is shaking like a leaf. Father, don't struggle anymore. You have a mole behind your left ear. Exactly like that general's. I saw it right when I was born. Father was blind not to notice it before. I delivered the fatal blow. Father's hand moves to the back of his ear. There truly is a dark red mole there. Father's breathing suddenly turns heavy.
He lets go of his hand.
As if he's touched something. Filthy. He takes 2 steps back. Looks at Li Jingming. Then looks at me. His face is full of rage and sorrow. 16 years, he mutters to himself. I raised someone else's son for 16 years. And even made him the crown prince. Father suddenly bursts into laughter. The laughter is full of madness. Li Jingming collapses completely. He knows it's all over. Father's laughter stops. His face returns to a deathly calm. He gives the order to Wang De outside. Hear my decree. Crown Prince Li Jingming is lacking in virtue and has disgraced the palace. Strip his rank and grant him the wine. Wang De kneels outside the hall, bowing his head deeply. Your servant obeys. Li Jingming lies on the floor, looking like a ghost. No! Father, you can't. Father doesn't even look at him. He carries me out of the hall. At the door, he stops. Wang De, I'm here. The whole palace. Get rid of everyone who knows. Yes. The scent of blood fills the air. I lean on Father's shoulder, not daring to think about anything. Because I know. This is just the beginning. Father carries me, heading for the other siblings' quarters. A bloodbath is about to begin. Father's steps don't hesitate at all. The blood from the Eastern Palace seems to follow his steps, but his arms are steady as iron bands, though his fingertips are ice cold. Next is the home of the second prince. This brother is 14. He loves poetry and painting, known as the capital's top talent. Scholars call him a perfect prince. What a pity, what a pity. I sigh inwardly. This is yet another. Father steps. Pause for a split second. We soon reach the manor. Unlike the solemn Eastern Palace, this place is full of elegance. Bamboos sway, and lute music floats in the air. Li Jingshuan comes out in simple robes, holding a book. He greets us quickly, looking perfectly surprised and happy. I didn't know you were coming, Father. Please forgive my late welcome. His bow is graceful, more scholarly than the crown prince. Stand up. Father's voice is emotionless. Reading? Yes. I'm reviewing the Zuo Juan. The tutor taught a chapter recently, and I had some thoughts on it. Just about to write. Li Jingshuan stood up. His gentle gaze landed on me. This is Shen's younger sister. Congratulations, Father. My sister is so adorable. She truly takes after you, Father. Here we go again. I internally rolled my eyes. You princes. Can you compliment people on anything besides looking like Father? The thing is, second brother, do you even realize? Those phoenix eyes of yours look just like that eunuch Su who served mother for 20 years. You're basically twins. Father stiffened up again. Li Jingshuan seemed to notice something was off, but he still kept that polite smile on. Father suddenly dropped by. Is there something you want to tell me, Your Majesty? Father didn't answer right away. He held me in his arms and slowly walked into second prince's study. The study was well stocked with brushes and paper. Several landscape paintings hung on the wall, all signed by Jingshuan the scholar. Pretty impressive skill. There was also an essay on the desk. The ink was still wet. The topic was the dangers of rivalry among brothers. Not a bad essay. Father glanced over it and commented lightly. You're too kind, Father. Li Jingshuan bowed humbly. Jingshuan, do you know why I went to the Eastern Palace first today? Father suddenly asked. Li Jingshuan's eyes flickered. I don't know, Your Majesty. Did Big Brother make you mad, Father? Father said slowly, word by word. He's not my son. The room froze instantly. All color drained from Li Jingshuan's face. He jerked his head up, his eyes full of disbelief. Father, why would you say that? A matter this serious, I have proof. Father cut him off, eyes sharp as a blade. That mole behind his ear. Exactly the same as the Grand General's. I've already disowned him. Li Jingshuan staggered back a step and grabbed the desk for support. Barely steadying himself, his voice shook. How can this be? Then the Empress Mother. Father let out a cold laugh. Of course I'll question her. That's it, I thought. Father's going to take us down one by one. Am I next? Is he going to ask second brother if he knows who his real father is? Sure enough, Father changed the subject. Jingshuan, you were born weak. When you were 3, you fell gravely ill. Almost died. Do you remember it? Li Jingshuan tried to stay calm. I vaguely remember. Mother cared for me night and day. And Dr. Su even saved me. That's the only reason I'm alive. When he mentioned Director Su, he sounded extra respectful. Su Yuanpan. Father rolled that name over his tongue, his gaze turning even colder. Yes, Director Su is a great doctor, especially with kids. After you got well, the Empress transferred him to the Central Palace and promoted him to Chief Eunuch, serving closely at her side. It's been 11 years now. Li Jingshuan seemed to realize something. His breathing got faster. Father, what are you getting at? Father didn't answer. Instead, he looked at me, or maybe just spoke to the air, knowing I could hear his thoughts, and slowly said, I remember before Eunuch Su entered the palace. He was heir to a famous family of physicians from Jiangnan. His family got implicated in the exam scandal, so he was castrated and sent to the palace. He had a son, only 3 years old when the case happened, disappeared without a trace. Li Jingshuan's face had turned ghostly pale. Father went on, his voice cold as ice. Funny thing is, you showed up in the Empress's palace when you were 3, claimed to be a distant relative's orphan. The Empress took you in. Even funnier, no one knows what happened to you before age 3. Your big illness at 3 was cured by Eunuch Su. And after you got better, the Empress moved him to her side. Tell me, Jingshuan, are there really that many coincidences in this world? Stop pretending. Second brother, I sighed inwardly. There's a hidden compartment in your study, with Eunuch Su's old family jade pendant, and your secret correspondence every month. You think burning the letters made it go away? The Emperor's secret guards probably already sent copies to the imperial study. Father obviously heard me. The last warmth faded from his eyes. You have no idea. Father slowly walked over to the desk. His hand rested casually on a certain spot. With a click, a side panel popped out, revealing a secret compartment. But it was empty. Father just stared at Li Jingshuan coldly. Should I send someone to your nurse's hometown to get the things you've hidden there? Or just have Eunuch Su confront you directly? Li Jingshuan was completely broken. He collapsed to his knees, tears streaming down his face. Father, please have mercy. I had no choice. Mother threatened me with my real mother's life. I didn't dare refuse. No choice, huh? Father looked down at him. So you secretly befriended the liberal faction, spread rumors about the crown prince, trying to take his place. Was that no choice too? You and Eunuch Su exchanged secret letters, planned to clear his family's name after you took the throne, even let him reclaim his true identity and join the court. That was no choice as well? Li Jingshuan was speechless, just kept banging his head on the ground. Father shut his eyes, took a deep breath. When he opened them again, his look was icy and cruel. Second Prince Li Jingshuan pretended to be royal, colluded with eunuchs, plotted rebellion, stripped of all titles, imprisoned in the cold palace, to die and not be released. All Su clan and associates shall be executed. The order was calm and quick. Li Jingshuan's cries faded as the guards dragged him away. Father carried me out of that elegant residence. Sobs and commotion echoed behind us. The smell of blood was even stronger. Next up was third Princess Li Yuru's palace. She was only 12, known in the palace for her beauty and kindness, gentle and sweet-natured, filial and considerate. Even father once praised her as the most devoted daughter. On the way to the princess's quarters, for the first time, father's steps seemed heavy. He looked down at me.
His gaze was complicated.
I quickly lowered my eyes, tried to focus and clear my mind, emptied my thoughts. Don't think. Absolutely don't think. Actually, third princess. Father suddenly stopped walking. He stood in the middle of the palace path. His shadow stretched long in the rising moonlight. Wang Dai and all the eunuchs and guards followed in silence. No one dared make a sound. After a long pause, father finally moved again. His voice was hoarse. I've watched Yuru grow up firsthand. I have no idea how to respond. All I can do is play dead. We soon reached the third princess's chambers. Different from the prince's residences, this place was more elegant and delicate. The palace lanterns glowed brightly. Faint music drifted out. After an embrace, A girl in soft yellow rushed over, her features gentle and sweet. She was Lee Yuru. When she saw father, her eyes immediately lit up with a genuine smile. She bowed respectfully. Daughter greets father. Why have you come at this hour, father? Her gaze landed on me. Her eyes instantly brightened. Oh, is this my little sister? She's adorable. Can I hold her? Her joy and kindness felt so natural. Even I was lost for a second. Father's expression seemed to soften a bit too. He even gently handed me over. Lee Yuru carefully took me in her arms. Her movements were soft, her eyes full of pure curiosity and fondness. He's so tiny and soft, he whispered. Her fingers gently touched my cheek. But right then, a faint, barely noticeable scent from her sleeve wafted up to my nose. It was the smell of Shu's trance incense, though masked by other floral scents. In my past life, I was a med student, after all. I'm way too sensitive to this scent. Instant alarm bells rang in my head. A 12-year-old princess, hiding this kind of thing in her sleeve. Father's body tensed up again. Lee Yuru seemed completely unaware. She looked up at father, smiling sweetly with me in her arms. Has little sister been named yet? I think you would be a lovely name. It means precious treasure, and it fits our family's naming pattern. Yuru father suddenly spoke, cutting her off. Have you today seen your uncle? Lee Yuru's smile froze for a split second, so fast it was nearly invisible. Uncle, you're talking about the Grand Marshal? He tilts his head, looking all innocent and confused. Uncle? Didn't father send him to guard the border years ago? How could I possibly see him? But mother mentions him a lot. She really seems to miss him. What a great performance. I'm sneering inside. Too bad, you secretly left the palace last month? Went to Yanshui Pavilion in the west of the city. Met with your uncle's confidant for half an hour. Did you really think no one knew? That incense in your sleeve was given to you by that person, right? What do you use it for? Control someone important? Or to target the emperor? Father's eyes turn completely cold. He doesn't expose her directly. Instead, he brings up something else. I remember your birth mother, Lady Liu, died when you were 6. Lee Yuru's eyes instantly turn red. She lowers her head, choking up. It's my bad luck. Mother died early. Luckily, Empress took pity on me. Raised me all these years. Lady Liu passed unexpectedly. Father says slowly, the imperial doctor's record says sudden illness. But I later found out, just before she died, she secretly met your birth father's old followers. Li Yulong suddenly looks up, real fear in his eyes for the first time. Your birth father, father's voice sharp as a blade, was a traitor from the last dynasty. When I crushed the rebellion, General Liu's family was executed, except Lady Liu, who was pregnant. She was taken into the palace. 6 years after your birth, her old followers found her. They tried to make trouble. She died soon after. Father, Li Yuru screams, gripping my arm tight. How did you know? All that about mother? She didn't just die from illness. She was silenced. Father cruelly reveals the truth. Killed by her old followers, or others afraid to be exposed. And you knew. You've always known the truth. You know who killed your mother? You've been holding back, hiding, waiting for your moment. Li Yuru trembles all over, tears streaming down. This time it's not an act. It was the Empress. She forced my mother to her death. She said if mother didn't kill herself, she'd kill me, all just to protect me. He can't stop crying. But there was nothing I could do. I had to listen, had to please her, had to pretend to know nothing. So he chose to work for her, help her do things.
Even
Helped her real lover, the Grand Marshal. Yuru is thunderstruck, looks at father in disbelief. You even know that? Incense from the west, common in the Marshal's manor. Father stares at her sleeve. You brought it tonight. Who were you planning to use it on? Me, or one of my maids or eunuchs. Trying to get information. The last of her act is gone. Li Yuru collapses to the ground, almost drops me from her arms. Father catches me quickly. She mumbles in shock. I just wanted to survive. I just wanted revenge. What did I even do wrong? Father looks at her, eyes full of complicated feelings. Anger, disappointment, maybe even a bit of pity. This daughter he had truly loved. Turns out from the start, she was just a pawn in someone else's scheme. The third princess, Li Yoru, carries rebel blood, conspired with traitors, plotted trouble. Father's voice goes cold again, stripped of her title, cast out as a commoner, sent to the royal temple. She be a nun forever, never allowed out. Li Yoru doesn't cry out, just kneels there, stunned. Lets the guards take her away. As she passes by father, she suddenly looks up, gives a bitter smile. You realize it only now, father. None of us are really your own children. Did you know? Maybe in this palace, not one child here is truly yours, except the one in your arms. She looks at me, her eyes strange and deep. Is this one really clean? Father's eyes widen in shock. Li Yoru is taken away, but her words stay, like a thorn in father's heart. In mine too. Father holds me, stands in the darkening night, for a long time. His fingers absent-mindedly rub my swaddling cloth, gaze locked on the palace depths, where the fourth prince, fifth prince, and sixth princess are, and the empress still in the palace after giving birth. Returned to the inner court, she finally gives the order, voice tired and icy. But the empress... The real storm's just beginning. Phoenix Hall, the empress's quarters. Lights blaze inside, but it's eerily silent. All maids and eunuchs have been driven out, bowing on the floor, shaking with fear. The empress is alone inside. She's changed outfits, combed her hair, sits pale-faced on the phoenix couch, still holding herself with dignity. But her fists clutching a handkerchief show her panic and turmoil. Father enters holding me. No bow. No greeting. He goes straight to the main seat, puts me by his side, then finally looks up at the woman he's been married to for 20 years. Your Majesty. The Empress tries to speak, her voice dry. Li Wanrong. Father calls her by name. It's never happened before. I'll ask you just once. Li Jingyan, Li Jingshuan, Li Yoru. Whose children are they? The Empress trembles all over, trying to hold herself together. Why would you ask that, Your Majesty? Of course they're your children. I've looked at them. Father cuts her off, tired of it all. Jingming has the same birthmark behind the ear as the Grand Marshal. Jingshuan's face looks just like Eunuch Su's. Secret letters prove Yoru's background. You know better than anyone. Do I need to keep going? The Empress's face goes ghostly pale. Her lips shake, but she still refuses to admit it. Someone's framing me, Your Majesty. They're trying to hurt me and hurt our children. Don't believe them, Your Majesty. Framed? Father laughs. The laugh is full of pain and mockery. Li Wanrong, did you really think I was blind? Or an idiot you could fool for 20 years? He suddenly throws the secret reports he was holding, thrown down hard, right in front of the Empress. That was part of the evidence uncovered by the secret guards. General Chunzan, defender of the nation. Traces of early dealings with the Empress, Su Yu's family background before entering the palace, and the coincidence of his only son's disappearance. Records of Lady Liu's secret talks with the Empress before falling ill. There's even proof that in recent years, the Empress kept contact with border towns through covert channels. Solid evidence, undeniable. The Empress stared at the papers scattered all over the floor, as if her last bit of strength had left her. She collapsed. Her eyes were empty. For a moment, she suddenly burst out with a shrill, crazed laugh. Lily, you finally know. Finally, you know. He raised his head, his eyes full of resentment built up over many years, and twisted satisfaction. None of them are your children. The crown prince you loved for 16 years. He's the son of Chun Zayan and me, that talented scholar you praised for years. He's Su Yu's kid. That obedient princess is a remnant of the former dynasty. So, what do you think? You raised someone else's children all these years. How does it feel? Pretty satisfying, right? Father's temple veins bulged.
He gripped the armrest tightly.
His knuckles turned white, yet he suppressed his rage. Just stared coldly at the Empress's madness. Why? He asked. His voice was hoarse. Why? The Empress stopped laughing. Her eyes poisonous like a snake. Lily, you ask me why. Why not ask yourself? Back then you married me, just because you wanted my family's military power, to help you ascend the throne. Once you became emperor, you discarded us, suppressed my father and brothers. You have so many consorts in the harem. Did you ever truly care for me? Me, the dignified empress, lived like a decoration. Why can't I seek someone who truly cares about me? Chunzun loved, respected, and understood me. Su Yud was gentle and thoughtful. He cared if I was cold or hot. Even Lady Liu, that fool. At least her daughter was easy for me to control. And what about you? What did you ever give me? Except this cold queen's position. Endless loneliness. What else? She screamed, tears and snot pouring out, letting out 20 years of grievances and resentment. Father listened in silence, his face unmoved, until she was shouted hoarse. He finally spoke. So you put cuckold after cuckold on my head. Turned me into the biggest joke under heaven. Li Wanrong, your father and brother were dealt with by state law. They embezzled military supplies. Let soldiers wreak havoc. They got what they deserved. I never dragged you into it. Still let you have the honor as empress. Harem consorts are an ancient rule. I never favored anyone and neglected you. Yet you used this as an excuse for such behavior. Disrupted my bloodline. Ruined my empire. He stood up, walked toward the empress step by step, each step heavy as a mountain. If you hate me, take it out on me. But what about those kids? Jingyan, Jingzhuan, Yuro, how innocent they are. You had them as tools. Used them and controlled them. Now their identities are exposed. Death or prison awaits. You really are a fine mother. The empress backed away under his intimidating presence. Fear finally showed on her face. What do you want? Kill me, Lily. My Li family may have lost, but my old troops in the army in Chunzhen remain. He holds great power. If he finds out you harmed me, Chunzhen, father coldly laughed. Why do you think I waited until today? The border is secured. His replacement is already in place. Your beloved man probably can't even save himself now. The empress was utterly hopeless. Father no longer looked at her. He turned and walked back to his seat. Pick me up. As if I was the only clean thing in this filthy hall. Empress Li Wanrong has lost virtue. She disrupts the palace, confuses royal bloodlines. Her crime cannot be forgiven. He gave his final judgment, his voice cold and tired. Stripped of her title, demoted to commoner and granted white silk. The empress let out a piercing scream, rushed forward to grab father's robe, but was firmly held down by the guards. Father held me and walked out without looking back. Lilin, you will be punished. None of your children will end well. You, all alone. The empress's vicious curse echoed behind us. At the palace gates, father paused his steps, ordered Wang Di, who was kneeling outside. Anyone who assisted Li Shuren must be executed. Clean out all staff of Fengyi Hall. Leave no one. Even Wang Di's voice was trembling. Father carried me and stepped out of Fengyi Hall. The night wind hit, bringing autumn's chill and the faint smell of blood. In just a few hours, the crown prince was dethroned and sentenced to death. Second prince was imprisoned. Third princess became a nun. The empress was granted white silk. The night over the palace was so thick, it couldn't be dispersed. I lay on father's shoulder, exhausted in body and mind. Too much happened today. I'm too old. But what troubled me most was what the third princess said before leaving, and the empress's final curse. Am I really the only one father truly fathered in this palace? What about the fourth and fifth princes and sixth princess? What secrets are they hiding? And after all this betrayal and shock, what will father become? How will he treat me, his only confirmed, and able to see inside him, biological daughter? Father seemed to sense my unease. He tightened his hold on me a bit.
His low voice came.
Don't know if he's talking to me or to himself. Don't worry, I am here. But his voice had little warmth, only endless desolation and loneliness. The truly lonely one. That night, the palace was soaked in blood. News was tightly kept, but the scent of blood and chilling atmosphere still spread everywhere, made anyone who knew or sensed something silent with fear. As for me, a baby thrown right into the heart of the storm. What lies ahead for me? In the days that followed, the palace seemed calm on the surface, but tension still lingered underneath. Official word: Empress died suddenly of illness. Crown Prince mourned his mother. Sadness overwhelmed him. He chose to become a monk and pray for the nation. Second prince focused on his studies. Asked to shut himself away to write books. Third princess prays for her late mother. Entered the temple for purification. Official statements kept rolling out, covering up the scandal and bloodshed of today. Father purged everyone connected with an iron fist. Many were implicated. There were rumors everywhere. But with my father on the throne, no one dared to question him openly. Grand General Chunzun was stripped of command at the border and died suddenly on the way back to the capital. Su Yu committed suicide in prison out of fear. Their followers were wiped out. I was still kept in my father's Kanyuan palace, in a side chamber, cared for by people he handpicked, by nannies and maids with spotless backgrounds. Father visited me almost every day. Sometimes he'd just quietly watch me. Sometimes he'd hold me while working on reports. And every now and then,
He'd talk about court affairs.
or recall small things about my mother. He was testing me and watching me closely, checking if his daughter, who could read his thoughts, could expose secrets, or had other abilities, and if I was a threat to him. I kept playing the part of a regular baby who slept most of the time, and would space out even when awake, only when bored or when needed. I think about trivial stuff, like the milk being too hot, the blanket being too tight, or a maid smelling strongly like spices. I had to carefully control my thoughts, keeping things realistic, but never too weird, so I wouldn't be seen as a real monster. As for the other princes and princesses, father hasn't acted yet, but I knew, once suspicion takes root, it never goes away. Fourth Prince Li Jinkin and fifth Prince Li Jingyu, sixth Princess Li Yuxin, each had a different mother, and their mothers were either gone or out of favor. Father assigned more people to watch them, and secretly started looking into their mothers' pasts, beneath the calm, trouble brood. That day, while father was holding me, we walked in the imperial garden. Autumn was deep, leaves were falling everywhere. The mood was so peaceful. Suddenly, father spoke. He called me by the nickname he gave me. Based on my order as a princess,
He said, "Who in this world can I still trust?"
I tensed up inside and quickly pretended not to understand. Butterfly, a yellow butterfly flying by. Father seemed to laugh a little, so faint it was hard to notice. Even you're pretending around me. He looked down at me, his eyes deep and intense. But that's good. At least it means you're afraid, and you know to hide better than those who act loyal. But stab you in the back. It wasn't clear if he meant it as a warning or just sighed. Just then, children's laughter came from up ahead. I saw sixth Princess Li Yuxin with some maids, chasing a colorful ball around. She wore a pink dress. Her cheeks flushed from running, her laughter bright like ringing bells, so innocent and carefree. Seeing the emperor, his eyes lit up. He stopped right away, ran over and bowed all proper. Your son greets the emperor. Then he curiously looked at me. Father, is this the little sister? She's so small and cute. You could see how much he liked her. Totally different from the third princess's act before. Much more natural and pure. The emperor gave a quiet. His face softened a bit. What are you playing? Answering the emperor, I'm kicking the embroidered ball. Too bad nobody can beat me. Li Shinshin proudly puffed out her little chest. Then she looked a bit embarrassed. Father, can I hold the baby sister? Just for a moment. The emperor hesitated a second, and then actually handed me over. Li Yuxin was over the moon. Carefully took me in her arms, like holding a precious one-year-old treasure, then quietly murmured, "Be good, little sister. Big sister's holding you, don't cry." Up close, I studied this 8-year-old sixth princess. Her face was gentle, good-looking. You could see a hint of the emperor's features, especially her straight nose. She seemed lively and cheerful. Didn't look sneaky at all. But just as she held me, and excitedly looked up to say something to the emperor, a plain jade lock at her neck slipped out from her collar. The jade lock looked simple, but carved on it was a tiny, almost invisible mark. That mark, I'd seen copies like it in museums in my last life. It's a secret sign of a clan wiped out in the previous dynasty. I was shocked inside.
The sixth princess.
She was tied to the old dynasty too. The emperor instantly tensed up. His eyes were sharp like a hawk, staring right at the jade lock. Li Yuxin noticed nothing, still happily playing with me. But the emperor slowly reached out, casually fiddled with the red cord on her neck, making the jade lock even more visible. His voice gave nothing away. This jade lock looks unique. Who gave it to you? Li Yuxin looked down at it, said like it was obvious. Grandma's son gave it to me. She said this is a charm my mom left for me. I have to wear it all the time, can't take it off. Father, does it look nice? Grandma's son was her mother's maid, brought along when married. She'd served the sixth princess for years. The emperor's eyes turned cold, but he smiled. Looks nice. Keep it on and go play. Be careful not to fall. Li Yuxin gently handed me back to the emperor, gave another bow, then skipped off to play ball again. Carefree, the emperor stood there holding me, stared at her back in silence. He quietly muttered the name, Grandma's son. A flash of murderous intent. Another child with questionable ancestry. A mark from the old dynasty, found on an 8-year-old princess. Was it her mother? Or Grandma's son who had secrets? Maybe both. The emperor's suspicions went wild. He started doubting. Are there any truly clean kids in this palace? Even the most innocent-looking sixth princess could be involved. What about the fourth and fifth princes from the old dynasty? What secrets are hiding behind them?
He might even begin to suspect.
Me, his confirmed real daughter. Was I really trustworthy? After all, he could hear my thoughts, which is just too weird. When doubt starts to grow, it eats away at all trust. I could feel the emperor's arms, tensing up slightly. He looked down at me, eyes hard to read, searching, suspicious, even a bit conflicted. I knew the peaceful moment was over. A new round of searching. Surprises may come again soon. And me, knowing everything, but unable to control my newborn body. How can I survive in this more and more dangerous palace? What should I do? Worse, I feared. If all princes and princesses turn out to not be the emperor's real kids, or have huge doubts about them, then as the only true-born daughter, what kind of pressure and expectations will I face? A father scarred by betrayal and suspicion. How long can his only trust in me last? Grandma's son fell into a well that night. Her room was secretly searched. Sure enough, they found letters tied to items from the old dynasty, and tokens as proof. She was indeed a maid to a princess from the previous dynasty, hidden in the palace for years. Her job was to protect and guide the sixth princess who had the old dynasty's blood, the sixth princess's birth mother. That concubine who died early, turns out her family had ties to the old dynasty. Maybe even her joining the palace was arranged. The emperor was furious, but felt even more betrayed. He didn't immediately punish the clueless princess, just watched her closer. But his gloom deepened day by day.
He started calling the fourth and fifth princes more often.
Testing schoolwork, watching their actions, looking for any hint of something wrong. Prince Li Jinkin, 13, his mom was the late consort Di. Quiet and reserved, really into horseback riding and martial arts. Close with sons of generals in the army. The emperor wondered if he had ties with a military leader. 5th Prince Li Jingyu, 10. His mom was consort Shun, who was sent to the cold palace for crimes. Sickly and weak. Likes reading, especially obsessed with mechanisms and numbers. Bit of a loner. The emperor worried someone might be using him. Or if he was trouble himself. The whole palace was wrapped in suspicion. Everyone felt anxious. Even me, a baby, could feel the suffocating tension. When the emperor came to see me, he still held me. But the way he looked at me sometimes made my back go cold. I had to be extra careful controlling my thoughts, afraid one slip would bring disaster. In that tense air, a twist came out of nowhere. It was one afternoon. The emperor was with me in Canyuan Palace, looking over government papers. Suddenly, from the northern frontier, reports of snow disasters started flooding in, asking for money and supplies to fight the disaster. But the treasury wasn't full, and river shipping from the south was delayed, no updates. Blaming each other, no solution was being decided. The emperor frowned, clearly really annoyed. I lay in the crib nearby, hearing the emperor Wang Di and a few trusted ministers discussing. I couldn't help thinking too. First, save lives and keep warm. Clear the roads, then rebuild. If river shipping's delayed, could we use sea or land routes for now? To help with the empty treasury, issue short-term bonds or seek donations? Compensate with salt rights and titles later. Post-disaster rebuilding. Can we use work for relief? It restores production and settles the refugees. These ideas flowed uncontrollably through my mind, just habits from my past life. By the time I realized it, it was already a long list. Then, I noticed father's brush had stopped. He suddenly looked at me in the cradle. His eyes were full of shock, as if he'd seen something impossible. The hall went silent instantly. Wang Day and the ministers were confused. They looked at me too, then back at father, exchanging puzzled glances. Father quickly looked away and cleared his throat to hide it. He told them, I just thought of a plan. The northern snowstorm. Priority is relief. Order the local troops to move out. Clear the main official roads. Set up porridge stalls and warming centers. Tell the southern transport units to try sea routes or speed up by land. For the costs, I'll use some from my private funds first. Issue the decree. Call for merchants to donate grain. I will grant plaques to the big donors, or give honorary titles and salt rights. As a reward for rebuilding, recruit the victims. Use work for relief. Repair roads and irrigation. Distribute pay and grain. He spoke so many points at once. Clear measures and specific steps. It was 70% similar to my thoughts. Even some details, like private funds and work for relief, were the exact words I thought of. The ministers listened, first surprised, then full of admiration. They praised his wisdom. Your Majesty is so thorough. This plan is brilliant. But father didn't look happy. He just waved them away. You may leave. Draft the details quickly. Once it was just him, Wang Day, and me. He looked at me again.
His gaze was incredibly complex.
Suspicion mixed with inquiry. But there was also a faint, barely detectable joy. He walked to the cradle and leaned over to look at me. He whispered so only we could hear. Was that you? I was freaking out inside. I had to keep acting. The baby just blinked her eyes and made meaningless sounds. Father watched me for a long time. Suddenly he reached out and gently touched my cheek. It was a very solemn gesture, almost like he cherished me. Am I a monster? He whispered, as if convincing himself. You are a gift from heaven to me. He stood up and gave Wang De orders. Decree, Princess Li Yu is gifted. She has won my heart. Honor her mother as Consort Jing. Rebury her with noble consort rights. Double the pay for her staff. Pick some reliable nannies. And 10 maids to come here. When she's awake. If she's bored, read her travelogues and maps. Wang De was confused, but obeyed immediately. Yes, Your Majesty. I was stunned. Father's change in attitude was because of those relief strategies. He realized that the daughter he can hear can do more than expose evil. Maybe I can help him rule. In the following days, father's attitude changed subtly. He'd still test me, but with less suspicion. He showed real care and guidance. He started to intentionally discuss state issues while I was awake, or tell stories of history and geography. Then he'd watch for my reaction. Sometimes I couldn't help having ideas. Father would look thoughtful, and then he'd often adopt them in practice, like a local group fight, involving powerful clans. I thought elders are more useful than police. So father gave an order. Local officials and respected elders should mediate together. It worked perfectly. Or how to pick talent. I thought of the old exam's flaws. Writing essays doesn't mean you can work. Actual talent matters most. So father looked beyond the exams and strengthened official evaluations. I gradually understood. Father was using my thoughts for inspiration and new perspectives. And I was carefully using this ability to prove I was useful and harmless. I also wanted to help, make a positive impact on this era. Since I'm a princess now, this country's stability and prosperity affect my future life too. A strange, fragile bond slowly formed between father and me. He no longer saw me as just a freak to be wary of. He saw me as a potential advisor and a daughter. The investigation into the princes continued, but father's anxiety seemed to ease. Maybe because he had me to lean on, or maybe because he was focusing more on state affairs and raising me. But peace is always short-lived. Just as I thought I could relax, a bigger secret emerged. This time, it was about myself. That day, father had me in the study with an official from the south.
It was Censor Zhou Zhang.
Zhou served 3 emperors. He was very upright and trusted by father. This time, he reported on corruption in the south. When he finished, Zhou didn't leave immediately. He looked hesitant. Hesitating to speak. Something else, Zhou? Father asked. Zhou took a breath and knelt down. Your Majesty, while in the south. Besides the corruption, I also looked into an old matter. Oh, what is it? Father told him to stand and speak. Zhou stood up, looked at me in father's arms, and whispered, It's about the late consort Jing. Consort Jing was my birth mother. The low-rank consort father had chosen. Father's expression froze. What about her? Your Majesty, the records say that before the palace. She was a minor clerk's daughter from Suzhou. Her parents died early, and her uncle raised her, Zhou asked.
Correct.
Father nodded. That's what the records say. But Zhou dropped a bombshell. I found out from my search that her uncle, that clerk from Suzhou, had already died of illness 3 years before she entered the palace, at only 13 years old. After her uncle died, she left Suzhou and vanished. Until 3 years later, she appeared on the selection list as a girl from a good family and was chosen for the palace. Father's brow furrowed tightly. You mean her identity is fake? Where was she for those 3 years? Zhou shook his head. I checked everywhere. I only heard that after Suzhou. She seemed to head southwest. Her whereabouts are hard to trace, and... He paused, lowering his voice even more. I also found out that the staff who handled her entry all died in accidents, or left the palace shortly after her labor. All the leads were gone. The study was deathly silent. Father's face turned very grim. He looked down at me, his eyes sharp as knives. Her identity is in doubt. What does that mean? It means his only confirmed daughter. Her mother's past might not be clean. Even whether I'm truly his blood is now a question mark. Zhou Zhang obviously thought of this too. Sweat broke out on his forehead. Your Majesty, your old minister. I'm only reporting the facts, Your Majesty. There might be more to this story. Father waved his hand to interrupt him. I understand. This matter ends here. Don't mention it to anyone. I understand, Your Majesty. Zhou Zhang felt completely relieved.
He left in a hurry.
Only father and I were left in the study. The tension was so thick, you could cut it with a knife. Father placed me on top of the imperial desk. His hands gripped the edge of the desk. He leaned in, staring at me closely. It was like he wanted to uncover every secret from my baby face, trying to see all the hidden secrets. Who are you, really? He asked in a low, raspy voice, full of exhaustion and doubt after being betrayed again and again. Inside, my thoughts were swirling too. My birth mother's identity is uncertain. What if I'm not really father's child? If even my last hope turns out to be fake, what will happen to the royal court? What will happen to me? No, I've got to think of something. Can't let his suspicions grow any deeper. In a panic, my mind started analyzing on autopilot. Why did Jing Fei fake her identity to enter the palace? Where would an orphan get the ability or motivation? Was someone behind this? What do the people who know her want? Was it to plant a spy? Or was the goal for her to have a child? If it's about the child, that child had to be father's flesh and blood. Otherwise, it's useless. So in those 3 missing years, did Jing Fei ever meet father? Did father ever go among the people? Wait a minute. A bold idea suddenly flashed through my mind. I tried to recall Jing Fei's features, then compared them with father's face, and thought about my own face. Then an idea formed so absurd. But somehow it felt possible. I forced myself to repeat it, in the simplest, most direct way. Inside my head, Jing Fei looks like the emperor. Jing Fei's eyes and chin look just like father's. I look like Jing Fei, so I also look like father. It's genetics. Father's whole body suddenly shook. He stared hard at me. His eyes flashed intensely. He clearly heard my thoughts. Struck by this totally new idea, he shot up straight, shouted for Wang Day. Bring me all of Jing Fei's paintings. and any keepsakes left when she entered the palace. Find them all for me, hurry! Wang Da didn't know what was going on, but father's face looked scary, so he scrambled to do it. Soon they brought several of Jing Fei's portraits and a few old belongings. Father personally unrolled the portraits and studied them.
He picked up a bronze mirror and compared it to his own face.
His expression grew more and more shocked and unsure. Jing Fei's portraits weren't very detailed because of her low rank, so the paintings weren't that fine, but the shape of the phoenix eyes and the jawline were really similar to father's. No one had ever looked at it this way before. After all, the emperor looking like a low-ranking consort sounds impossible. But what if they're actually related? Father's hands trembled slightly. He looked at me again, then at the portraits, then at the mirror. Summon the imperial doctors. Go quietly and bring Zhang Yuanpan, fast. Father ordered again. His voice was shaky and excited. Zhang Yuanpan is the best doctor in the imperial hospital, most skilled at tough cases, and can judge blood relations. Rumor has it he knows some secret methods. Zhang Yuanpan was brought in quietly and quickly. Father sent everyone away. Only left Wang Di by the door to watch over Zhang Qing. Father pointed at the portraits, then at himself and me. Take a good look. Does Jing Fei look anything like me? And does the seventh princess look like me? Or Jing Fei? Are they related? Zhang Yuanpan thought it was a strange question, but didn't dare ask.
He had to carefully compare them.
After a while, he pondered and answered, purely from appearance. Lady Jing Fei's features do resemble your majesty a bit. The seventh princess seems to have both your majesty's and Lady Jing Fei's traits, especially the nose and ear shape. Looks exactly like your majesty, but resemblance doesn't always mean family. There are many coincidences in this world. I know. I need you to use your method to confirm my blood relationship with the seventh princess. Zhang Yuanpan's face changed. Your majesty, that blood test for kinship isn't reliable. Not the blood test. I know your family has a method using ancient facial and pulse reading. It's not 100%, but it's pretty accurate. Just try it. You have my permission. Zhang Yuanpan had no choice. He agreed.
He asked father to prick his finger for a drop of blood.
Then use special medicine to wipe my foot. Watch the skin reaction and the blood drop characteristics. The whole time, father stared at us. He was holding his breath. I was super nervous too. I felt pretty sure I was father's child. But what if I'm not? What if Jing Fei really brought in someone else's child? Time dragged on. Zhang Yuanpan's brow sometimes furrowed, sometimes relaxed. Finally, he let out a long sigh, dropped to his knees. Congratulations, Your Majesty. Good news, Your Majesty. Using my family's method, I judged the seventh princess is definitely related to Your Majesty. No doubt about it. At least 90% sure. In this era, that's pretty much the highest certainty. Father seemed to relax all at once, or maybe got hit by huge joy. He stumbled back a step and held onto the jade desk to steady himself. His eyes started to well up. He looked at me with so much happiness and relief, along with a complicated feeling he couldn't describe. It's mine. She really is my daughter. My own child, he murmured. His voice choked up. My worried heart finally relaxed, too. Thank goodness. My life-saving charm is still here. But new questions popped up. If I am really Jing Fei's biological child, and look like father, what's Jing Fei's real identity? Is she related to father by blood? If so, what does it mean? Why did she hide her identity? Where did she go during those 3 years she disappeared? She became weak after childbirth and died. Was it natural or caused by someone? Father clearly thought about these things too. After his joy faded,
His face grew serious again.
even gloomier than before. On Jing Fei's case, there's probably a deeper, royal secret hidden there. And this secret might connect directly to father's past, and even the legitimacy of the royal family. Father waved his hand, told Zhang Yuanpan to leave, and strictly ordered him to keep it quiet. He picked me up again. Walk to the window. Look out at the deep night. Stay silent for a long time. I know. A more secret and thorough investigation about Consort Jing's real identity and past is about to begin. My status as her biological daughter is temporarily solid because blood ties are confirmed, but I'm also pulled deeper into the mystery. The secret investigation about Consort Jing's background was carried out in extreme secrecy. Father used his top secret guards and even personally got involved. Every detail, all the scattered clues pieced together, point to a shocking possibility. Consort Jing might share the same bloodline as father. She could be a royal descendant lost among the people. Over 20 years ago, during the previous emperor's reign, there was an attempted palace coup. A powerful prince was accused of treason then. His whole family was executed. But they say the prince's infant daughter was saved by a loyal servant risking their life. Her whereabouts became unknown. This became a taboo in the royal family, rarely mentioned. Consort Jing's age, timing of disappearance, her resemblance to father, and her deliberately hidden background all seemed to match that missing princess. Father checked the old royal records, found portraits of the prince and his wife. Comparing them, Consort Jing's features are very similar to the princess, and her face shape matches the prince's. Everything seems to fit. Consort Jing might actually be father's cousin. She hid her identity, wandered through hardships, finally entered the palace as a consort, and gave birth to me. So what was her motive for entering the palace? Was it revenge for her family? Or just looking for safety? Why didn't she try to reunite with father? Did she really die of illness? The investigation pointed to families involved in the prince's case. Though still influential in court, Consort Jing's entry papers seemed to be altered secretly. She got weak soon after childbirth. Even the imperial doctor's notes are suspicious. Father didn't alert anybody. He just put the people involved under secret watch. Anger and sorrow filled his heart. His cousin lost in the world, finally returned to the royal family, but met and parted in this way. She might have been killed. And he never knew. Almost lost trust in me, her only child left behind because of his doubts. He blames himself. Father held me and whispered apologies to Consort Jing's portrait. In that moment, he was no longer just a suspicious emperor, but a guilty brother, a heartbroken family member. The mystery about my origin was finally revealed through twists and turns. I'm father's real daughter, and also the granddaughter of that unlucky prince. This identity is both noble and sensitive. Father now has more complicated feelings for me. I'm not just his only bloodline, but also the orphan of his cousin whom he failed. From that bloody palace coup, I'm the only surviving family tie. Father protected me more closely, also started bringing me near him more consciously, teaching me, not just using my inner voice as inspiration, but really thinking as a father and emperor, telling me how to rule, how to govern, understand people, and value family. Jiao Qi, remember this. He looked at the royal family tree and told me, sitting in this position, family, love, and friendship can turn into poison, but can also become armor. How to tell the difference and how to control it is harder than running the country. I listened half confused, responded in baby ways, but deep down I understood. Father is trying to make me not just useful, but reliable as his heir. Though I'm just a princess, it's almost impossible for me to inherit the throne. But father doesn't care about these old rules. After nearly losing all sons to betrayal, he became obsessed with his bloodline and legacy. Now I'm his only option. Investigations on the fourth and fifth princes have gradually concluded. Fourth, Prince Li Jinkin is father's real son. His mother Consort Day had no wrongdoing. Her ties with military families were normal. Fifth Prince Li Jingyu's background is clean too. His mother Consort Shun was framed for her crime. Father has secretly cleared her name. Both princes, at the core, are innocent victims of palace intrigue, just drawn in by father's suspicions. Sixth Princess Li Yuxin has former dynasty ties, but she's young and unaware, and her mother's family has long fallen once Nanny-san died. Leads were mostly cut off. Father didn't punish her, just cleaned up her entourage again, and increased guidance and education. The truth is finally clear. Everything is settled. Other than the first and second princes and third princess who were dealt with, the rest of the princes and princesses are mostly innocent. This storm started by my inner voice. swept through the entire harem, has finally calmed down, though the price was high. A long-hidden tumor was finally removed. The Empress and her lover's faction, former dynasty's underground forces. The air in the palace feels like it's been washed by a heavy rain. There is still some lingering smell of blood, but finally a hint of sunshine. Father's character quietly changed through this upheaval. He was still strict, still suspicious, but the harshness in his brows had lightened. Sometimes he even showed a real relaxed smile. Especially when facing me, he started fixing his relationship with surviving children. Though the distance can't break down instantly, it was no longer cold or doubtful. He picked reliable mentors and attendants for them, and paid them more attention. In court, Father used the momentum of the harem cleanup and pushed to fix the bureaucracy, promoted talented people from humble backgrounds, and neutral officials. The government became more clear. As for me, Princess Li Yu, known in the palace for being smart and precocious, favored by Father. Though still an infant, I'm seen as Father's most beloved child. No doubt about it. Time flies. 3 years went by. I'm 3 years old now. I can run and jump, and talk well. Between Father and me, there's a close bond outsiders can't understand. He can still hear my inner voice, but we've learned how to use it for efficient communication. If something is hard to decide in court, he sometimes asks for my intuition. If I have thoughts or needs, I can just tell him. We're father and daughter, but also, in a way, allies. It's a beautiful spring day. Father takes me, and 4th prince, 5th prince, and 6th princess, to fly kites in the royal garden. The children run and laugh. Father stands by with a gentle smile, relaxed and happy. 6th Princess Li Yuxin has grown into a lovely young girl. She runs over and grabs my hand. Zhao Qi. Look, my butterfly kite goes highest. 4th Prince Li Jinkin quietly helps us hold the string. 5th Prince Li Jingyu sits under the tree playing with a clever wooden bird. Warm sunlight shines on us. A gentle breeze brings the smell of flowers. This moment has no intrigue, no suspicion, just the simple happiness of family. Father comes over, picks me up, lifts me high, so I can touch the soaring kite. Zhao Qi, he looks at me, his eyes full of open love and hope. See how high and free it flies. I hug his neck and say with a bright voice, Father, I want to fly high like a wish. Good, Father laughs. A warm and bright smile. My little phoenix will surely soar across the sky.